Wrestling fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble!
And now, please welcome at this time your hosts, Graham GSM Matthews and RJ Marceau. You're listening to the next era of wrestling radio. This is WrestleRant Radio.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WrestleRant Radio here today, June 12th, 2025. So much to get into here today. I'm gone for not even 3 full days. We got 2 Money in the Bank winners that we're going to get into, and I thought we would be sitting here ranting about Seth Rollins becoming Mr. Money in the Bank, because we just literally said last week, I had LA Knight, Mr. Marceau had Solo Sikoa, and I do have a lot to say about that, but I thought that would be our top rant here today. But we also got a new World Heavyweight Champion in Gunther, clean as a sheet. We have a new champion, Mr. Marceau. I know has thoughts, in addition to the fact that R-Truth is also back. The man rehired less than a week after not being renewed by WWE. I can't even say that he really returned, or that he even re-signed, because I think it's just a different deal. And he wasn't even off television for more than 2 weeks. He was really barely gone. But we have a lot to get into here today. Mr. Marceau, brother, what's going on?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing well, and happy to say that I think we're rocking and rolling off the start here with no issues with the stream. When I did hashtag on Tuesday, for whatever reason, the first 40 minutes of the show, I say lost. I have the full video, but when I went live for whatever reason, it didn't work. So the first 40 minutes of the video are completely lost on YouTube, and it's not that big of a deal. I didn't really say much of note anyway, but I am happy to report here. I think we are good to go. I know Alexis mentioned in the chat that I think we're rocking and rolling live, so thanks to her for letting me know that that we're good, that we're live, and we're all set. Shout out to everyone in the chat. I'll read the chat in just a few moments, but thanks for joining us live. I appreciate it. New episodes of the show every single Thursday on WrestleRant.com, WrestleRantRadio.com, and all your usual major podcast platforms for the audio version that goes up a little bit later on in the day. Shout out to the channel members, Alexis, Miss Maud, Matthews, Dylan DeGiacomo, Mrs. Renee, DJ Swerve1, at Swerve1 on the Instagram, Daniel Malcolm, who was here in the chat, I saw him a moment ago, at I'm Quarter on X, Mr. Marceau himself, follow him on the Twitter machine, at RJ_Marceau, John Ritland, Real Honesty with John Ritland here on YouTube, Richie as well, Red Planet Wrestling here on YouTube, and last but not least, Average Grunt, at The Average Grunt on X. More information and how to become a WrestleRant All Access Pass member in the description box down below. You get a shout out at the beginning and end of every single live stream here on the channel. Emojis and badges and live chat, early and ad-free access to certain videos and whatnot. So more information on that down below. Help support the channel. And at the very least, just like and subscribe to the channel, like the video, subscribe to this to the channel as well for more daily content, and turn on notifications to find out every time new content is uploaded and every single time we go live. So like I said, just want to shout out everyone in the chat real quick. I see Johnny was there. He said bonjour. He also asked, was the Swerve versus Will Ospreay match last night on Dynamite Summer Blockbuster better than their Forbidden Door match? It was not, in my opinion. I had seen Fernando say that it was. I don't think it was. I think it was a great match, but the original match is still better. No commercials, no time limit draw. We got a clean finish with that one, so still a great match. Check it out if you haven't already. Maria, what's going on? Saying hello, everyone. Hopefully YouTube doesn't mess up the beginning of the stream like it did on Tuesday, LOL. Happy to report that it did not. I mean, the day is still young. The morning is still young. The afternoon is still young. Still a chance it gets fucked up, but for now we're good. Will and the Swerve versus the Bucks at All In might steal the show, Johnny says. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big proponent of anything involving the Bucks at this point, but that is the match that makes the most sense for that show. I mentioned Daniel Malcolm, who was here a moment ago. He said, we're in here. Daniel, what's going on, brother? Thanks for joining as always. Abu Sika joining. Abu Sika, what's going on, brother? Saying hello, friends. Doing well, my friend. Thanks for joining. Maria said, talking about Will Ospreay and Swerve versus the Bucks, or Kenny and Okada will steal the show at All In. Probably the latter, but I think both matches will be very good. Millennial Noob saying, good morning. How you doing today? Doing well, Millennial. Thanks for joining. I'm ready to rumble all the time. Let's go. Great to see you, Fernando. Thanks for joining as always. Alexa said, good afternoon, y'all. And Grunt also joining us saying, thoughts on the new AEW Unified Championship belt. Not a big fan. It kind of just looks like a bigger version of the original AEW Women's Championship. I think it's a cool-looking belt. I think the International belt is better. Even the Continental Championship the belt is better. Also, not a big fan of the name. I think the Unified Championship name is kind of stupid. But the belt itself is fine, and I'm glad at the very least they're merging the two titles because the Continental Championship is completely pointless. So the design is fine, not big, not big on the name, but it's fine for what it is. He also said, hey, Graham and RJ, hope you're both doing well. Thank you, Grunt, appreciate that. And Eric said, last one here. Eric, thanks for joining. He said, I'm shocked Gunther won. I'm hoping they just don't put Jay and Jimmy right back together. Also, do you think Swerve helps Hangman win the belt? No, I don't think so. I think they're going to take their time on that. As far as the Gunther, Jey Uso thing, will they reunite the Usos? Well, we're going to get into that in a moment. I have a lot of thoughts on Jey Uso losing the World Heavyweight Championship. Yay or nay? And I know Mr. Marceau might have a rant of his own. But before we get into that, Mr. Marceau, I want to ask you, did you catch Worlds Collide this past weekend that aired before Money in the Bank on the WWE YouTube channel? Did you see any highlights from it at the very least?
I saw the highlights they showed on Money in the Bank. I didn't see anything live.
Okay, well, listen, it's a lot of wrestling in one day, but it was a very good show. Dare I say, actually better than Money in the Bank. A lot of great wrestling. Gable and Vikingo. I thought it was a great main event, as you would probably expect. I thought Money in the Bank was fine, to be perfectly honest with you. So before we get into each match, and really there was a lot that happened, but there were only 4 matches going in. We talked about that last week. They did end up adding a 5th match, which is why we got Dominik and Octagon Jr., who's from AAA and TNA, for the Intercontinental Championship. But overall, I thought it was a good show. Honestly, probably one of the weaker shows that WWE's done on PLE so far in 2025. But that speaks, I think, so far to the quality of the pay-per-views they've done so far this year. So what were your, before we get into each match, like I said, what were your overall impressions of the pay-per-view this past weekend?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was what it needed to be. Like I said, it was pretty short and sweet. I thought Becky and Lyra was probably the match of the night. I thought the Money in the Bank matches were good as well, but I thought that was definitely my favorite match. Also had the UFC prelims on, so that was nice. Maybe it made it seem better on the side, but no, I thought overall it was a decent show.
When did the UFC show start? I thought that started after Money in the Bank.
So the prelims start early. I think the first prelims was like 8:00, and then we watched like the whole UFC. So that got over like started at 10 and got over like 1.
Damn, so you had a long night. You watched all of Money in the Bank and all of the UFC pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Hey, fuck Worlds Collide at that point. You're a busy Marceau.
Exactly.
How was the UFC pay-per-view?
It was good.
We were talking a couple weeks ago. Someone had asked me, I don't know if you were here, though. We did have a UFC conversation a while ago, but do they have like big money makers at this point, like big stars to really help carry that company? I know it's not the same thing as WWE, but I just want to get your take on that.
Yeah, I think they have select people. John Jones is still fighting. He's like one of the bigger names.
Yeah, no John Jones. Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. They don't have a ton of big names they used to, but I watched. I thought the main event was good. It was a rematch. It was Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili.
Okay.
And it was good.
Mm-hmm.
It like you said, it depends. They do also this month. They're gonna have 2 pay-per-views in the same month, which is kind of crazy. It's $70 a pay-per-view.
Pulling WWE there, except without the cost.
Without the cost, exactly. But it also is International Fight Week, so usually it's like when they do like their Hall of Fame and stuff. So it should be a pretty good card as well. But yeah, it's tougher with the UFC just because you can't I guess you can make stars, but there's no like protecting them. Like,
yeah,
you lose it. Like
what, you can't do fatal 4-way fights? You're saying? Come on.
But that's the thing. Is like for a long time, the problem is when they had their biggest stars was probably when it was starting to gain some popularity. Obviously now it's at a different level. But in the mid to late 2000s, 2010, early 2010s, they had their biggest names probably of all time. But the sport just wasn't really that popular at the time.
What was at its peak as far as I remember when Conor McGregor was at its hottest as well, probably 9-10 years ago. Was that the last time they had a massive star?
Well, yeah, it was him. They also had Ronda Rousey as well, who was also huge at her time. So Conor and her, John Jones was kind of in his prime at that time. I would say with around that, like I said, probably 10 years ago was probably their peak at this point with the big stars that they had.
How old is John Jones?
Brock came back.
Yeah, Brock, yeah. How old is John Jones at this point?
He's probably in his late 30s now. I mean, there's
wow.
not really much for him left to do. I mean, he's the heavyweight champion now.
Okay.
Let's see how old he is. He's 37. There is an interim champion right now, but like he hasn't really decided to fight him yet. But like besides that, there really isn't anything for him left to do.
Dang, he's done it all.
Light heavyweight champion for like he's never lost. He's never lost a fight.
That's
he did
crazy.
once from disqualification, but besides that, like he's a monster. He hasn't lost a fight in almost 17 years. So that's why he's the GOAT.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I remember him from like 10 plus years ago. He's been around for a long time. But is he among the greatest of all time, John Jones, or at least of the current generation of fighters?
He is the greatest of all time.
Really, he's the greatest UFC fighter of all time. Wow, that's crazy.
He's a terrible person, but as a fighter, he's easily like his resume alone, like no one even comes close.
Yeah, I can't disparage the legacy. Grun said, shame that you missed the first legitimized Lucha Libre show, RJ. That's what Rey Mysterio said. He said that WWE legitimized AAA by simply working with them now. Lucha Libre was not legitimate before. I don't know if you knew that. That's what Rey said.
Not the bingo halls that Rey was wrestling at in the dock. Yeah,
I guess not.
I said, didn't see it. My bad.
You missed the first legitimate Lucha Libre show. But Johnny also asked for you. You know how bad I am with pronunciation, so I may be fucking this up. Mirab, he said for RJ. What is it?
Marab.
Okay, my apologies. You know I'm awful with that. He asked for RJ, who will defeat Marab?
It's a tough question. I mean, at this point for 135, I don't know if anyone can beat him.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's just got the mix of great. His pace is ridiculous. He doesn't stop coming forward. I mean, he's great wrestling. His striking's gotten better. I don't know who's going to beat him. I mean, he eventually will lose, obviously. Well, maybe he won't. Maybe he'll just retire undefeated. But, I mean, if he ever goes up to 145, maybe he'll run into something. But, I mean, at 135, I don't think he'll be beaten. I don't know. He's really good.
Wow. So him and John Jones are. I'm sorry for the elongated UFC talk here, but this stuff is fascinating to me.
Kids will ask you John Jones and Marab. They're two totally different weight classes.
Okay, so we're not going to see them clash at any point.
Marab fights at 135. John Jones is heavyweight.
Oh, shit. Okay. Did John Jones obviously put on, like, he bulked up? Because you said he was light heavyweight champion at one point.
He was light heavyweight. So light heavyweight's 205, and then heavyweight's up to 265.
Okay. Interesting.
John Jones, I think he's weighed in around like 240 every time.
Wow.
So.
I got to catch a UFC pay-per-view with one of these days. I haven't watched the UFC pay-per-view in quite some time, so. Hey, listen, at Town Burgers or whatever one of these days. They don't play the shows. They probably should, though. That'd be perfect.
No, it was good.
Put on the agenda. Back to Money in the Bank, back to good old real wrestling and not that fake UFC stuff. Naomi has missed Money in the Bank. You really couldn't have a bad option here, to be honest, aside from Rhea Maivia, if she were to win the briefcase. Thankfully, that did not happen. No Mommy in the Bank, but Naomi did go over here. I was really happy with this. I mentioned this last week. She deserves it. She's been around for 15 years, and you would think, oh, she's been around for so long. Why would that feel fresh? It's because she's doing the best work of her career right now. This is not a Natalya situation. Naomi has really switched up her character. I'm liking what she's doing, and now she can finally become champion again on her own. So I like the match. Love the outcome. What was your takeaway here, Mr. Marceau?
Yeah, I thought the match itself was good. I think the chalk person won. I mean, I think we both said Naomi. I mean, looking at it, didn't want Rhea to win. Alexa Bliss didn't really. I mean, wouldn't mind if she won, but And then the other three were Roxanne, Julia, and Stephanie. All three younger. Just got called up. Wouldn't really make much sense for them to win the briefcase. Seems like they all kind of have their own little direction anyway, so that doesn't really make sense. And then Naomi was kind of just. I mean, seems like she's getting a push as a heel. She's kind of developed as a better heel for herself than the whole glow and that babyface run. So, no, I mean, I think it made sense, and I was happy she won.
Yeah, no, I was very happy she won. When do you think she cashes in? On the sooner side, or do you think she's more of a long-term Miss Money in the Bank, like cashes in early next year like Tiffany did?
I mean, usually they cash in the night of, so I feel like
yeah.
I hope she, like, stretches out a little bit more. I feel like she still can get, like, a little bit more seasoning as a heel. I mean, I think she's good, but just get a little bit more in that role. But I think I would say within the next, 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I think probably within the next couple of months, I could see her winning the belt from Tiffany. I feel like that just makes the most sense. To go back to the UFC talk real quick, Abu Sika actually had another question for you. Where does Izzy rank of all time?
all-time middleweights or just all-time?
They just said all-time.
All-time?
All-time and middleweights.
I mean, middleweight, he would have to be like, I mean, probably top 3. I mean, middleweights of all time, top 3, top 4. Kind of the breeze of the middleweights. I mean, probably like Anderson Silva, him, and I don't know if I put Bisping up there. Pereira. I mean, Pereira's up there. I'd say top 3 middleweight all time. It'd be not top 10, but he'd be close. Probably top 20.
Wow. Okay. So they do have a lot of skilled people currently on their roster, so to speak.
He's on the down spiral, but yeah.
It's still pretty good. Listen, I had no idea that so many people that tune into the show are also simultaneously UFC fans. Because Eric also had another question, or not really a question, more of a comment. Again, they're gonna laugh at me for fucking this up, but he said, "I say maybe Pointia,
Pantoja.
Pantoja, is that what it is? That's
Alejandro Pantoja. Yeah.
I don't know why I said Pointia. Pantoja moves up to beat Merab. Does that make sense? That's what he said.
Yeah, Pantoja. So Pantoja's the flyweight champion, so that's 125.
Okay.
Merab's 135. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think he's nice too. I mean, that'd be a really good fight. I mean, I think it'd be a really good fight. Yeah. I mean, he's beaten everyone in flyweight, so I mean, they'd probably cross paths soon just because they beat everyone. It's kind of destiny at that point.
Need some new blood. Hey, put over the new faces, right?
Yep, and that fake UFC.
That fake UFC. I mentioned they added a match to the card. Dominik Mysterio beating Octagon Jr. to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Match was fine. Nothing wrong with it. Really nothing out of the ordinary. Octagon Jr. Shined in the 6-man tag team match they had at the beginning of Worlds Collide. But not even the biggest breakout star. I know you didn't watch the show, but I'm sure you saw all the talk about it on social media and the fact they kind of highlighted him on Raw. This Mr. Iguana stuff. I'm sure, that's your new favorite wrestler, and you've already bought the T-shirt and everything. They didn't have Mr. Iguana challenge for the championship here. It was Octagon Jr. I'm only familiar with Octagon from the time he has spent in TNA in the last couple of months. But I thought the match was fine. As someone who did not watch Worlds Collide, was this match like a bathroom break for you? Like, did you really care about this? I'm going to get your thoughts.
I watched it. I mean, I wouldn't say I really overly cared, but I watched it. That was good. I mean, nice little, could be probably like pretty much a TV match at the end of the day, but they had to highlight the AAA guys. That was a standard match, and Dom won, and we move on.
Do you think that on the AAA stuff, real quick, they had such a successful outing on YouTube? It was like well over 1 million views. They were touting the success of the show this past week in a press release. Do you think AAA, they give, like, from the WWE partnership, not even a partnership, they fucking own the company now, like they end up on a bigger platform? I think they're on Tubi right now, or Pluto or something like that. I don't follow the product, so I don't really know. I only know, like, the same thing with CMLO with AEW. I only really know what I know about the promotions from them working with WWE and AEW. But could you see WWE giving them, like, their own show after the successful showing they had this past weekend? Or is it too much content with everything else they're doing right now with Evolve and all this other shit?
I mean, it just depends. I feel like Evolve's kind of lower tier. I think obviously AAA would be seen at a higher level. I mean, I guess it really just depends on how much they want to, like, cross-pollinate between the main roster, NXT, in the AAA. Like, they have so much, like, Latino stars in all three. So if they want to, like I said, cross-pollinate for main roster people going, and I guess it really just depends. But, I mean, it seemed like it went well, so I wouldn't surprise if they tried to do something like that. But, I mean, I also, like you said, there's so much going on that maybe just keep it to the side right now.
Yeah, maybe not right now, maybe down the road. Yeah, no, I would agree. I think that would make the most sense, and especially with Evolve being a lower tier promotion, I totally agree. Hey, listen, whatever gets Alberto El Patron back on TV, right? I mean, the guy's a big star, former WWE champion. Hey, listen, terrible person. Don't give a fuck about him as a performer at this point. But that theme song was amazing. So I really don't want to see him on WWE TV again or any real major platform, but that music was nice. So I think the most I'll have a chance to listen to that is just checking it out on YouTube or Spotify or something like that. No, Alexis, she asked, is Octagon Jr. a descendant of Pentagon Jr.? No, I know why.
No, Octagon Sr. was his father. Alexis, come on.
Come on. Mr. Marceau knows more about the Lucha Libre, the legitimized Lucha Libre history than Alexis does. She's got to brush up on her history.
I've seen the bingo hall that Ray used to wrestle at in Tijuana.
You watch Lucha Underground. You watch the Temple. You know.
I've seen the Temple.
He's seen the temple.
That wasn't legitimate.
And that was not legitimate. It was not legitimate until now. Also on the show, you mentioned my favorite match of the night on a show with 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches and a tag team main event. The best match was a mid-card match for the women's Intercontinental title. This was an excellent match. Dare I say, and I'll get your thoughts, better than the Backlash bout? I would say so. I thought this match was great, and what we expected to happen, did happen. Becky Lynch, new women's Intercontinental champion. Had she lost, she can no longer challenge Lyra for the title again. That did not happen. Becky won, and she forced Lyra to kind of congratulate her afterwards, hold up the hand, and then Lyra kind of got full of it and I think laid her out or whatever happened. So before I get to what happened on Raw, I do want to get your thoughts on the match itself and these two continuing to have amazing chemistry together and the new champion crowned in Becky Lynch with the women's Intercontinental title.
No, I thought this was, like you said, the best match of the night. These women have great chemistry. I thought the match itself was great. A lot of near falls. They just clicked. I don't know. They just have really good chemistry. I thought the Backlash match was good, but I would say this one was better. Bayley went over, obviously. I mean, come on. She can't lose 2 matches in a row.
Becky Bayley, that doesn't work for her sister. I mean, come on.
Becky Bayley, and she gave her the rub at first, but she had to go over. I mean, she needs the belt for the collection. Wins here, cheating. I think she pulled the tights. Obviously, like I said, being a heel, had to put her hand up.
Yeah.
Kept she had to walk her around. Lyra just fed up, just beat her up a little bit, and then we got what we did on Raw. But no, I thought this was a great match. Becky winning, and it seemingly the feud will continue, I believe. But no, I thought it was the best in the match of the night.
I know it's only been a little less than 2 months, but I don't know if this is because WWE set a low bar this year, but this might be my favorite feud that WWE's done all 2025 long. And I know there's been some good ones and some not so good ones and stuff they haven't really fleshed out. This has been an excellent feud from the moment that Lyra got betrayed by Becky on the Raw after WrestleMania. Like, the matches have been amazing, good booking. Lyra's getting over. I think it's been...
I would say from story to matches to promos to everything they've done, it's definitely been the most well-rounded.
Really,
I think the promos have all been good. The matches have all been good. The story makes sense. Yep. Like, it's progressed correctly. I mean, I don't think they've made a wrong turn yet.
They've legitimized the women's U.S. title. I mean, that's still kind of a work in progress. The IC Championship, they've legitimized. Lyra's getting over, which was kind of the point. Becky, I've enjoyed this heel run from Becky 10 times more than whatever she was doing as a heel a few years ago. Big time Bex, and like that shit was stupid. I'm sorry. She had some great matches during that run, and she had a very good run as Raw Women's Champion from 22 to 23, 2022 to 2023, easy for me to say. But no, this is way better. The matches are way better. The promos are way better. Lyra's cutting some great promos. Just give the women some time. I know we talked a few months ago about like the whole women's promo thing, and Alexis and I had a whole discussion about it. But there are some really good talkers in that division. They just need to be given a chance to show what they can do. Becky, we already know. Lyra, we didn't really know because she wasn't out there cutting promos, but I think she's adapted extremely well. She might be one of the biggest she probably will end up being the biggest breakout star for the women in 2025, to be honest. I know on a roster right now where we have Julia and Stephanie, and Stephanie's probably the breakout. She's already extremely over, and she hasn't done anything so far since joining Raw. But Lyra's been booked extremely well. But is the end game here, you think, her getting the belt back, or will that go to Bayley, who returned on Raw, attacking Becky? Lyra didn't look too happy with that. So I thought we might get Becky and Lyra at 3 or 4, whatever you want to include the NXT match. I thought we might get that at Money in the Bank, at Evolution, and like a stipulation match, and Lyra might get the belt back there, and then we get to Becky and Bayley. But no, Bayley's back now. She will be presumably a part of Evolution. Do we get a triple threat? So your thoughts on the development and where we're headed from here with this feud?
Yeah, no, I thought we'd get Becky, Lyra 3 at Evolution. Obviously, Bayley comes back. I would assume you get that match in a triple threat at Evolution, and I mean, maybe one of them pins Bayley, and then we get to the 4th match and like the blow off at SummerSlam. But I mean, I think the 3-way is what we get at Evolution at least. I assume, like I said, I don't know if Becky retains and maybe Lyra's about to win and Becky throws her out and gets the win, and then we get the rubber match. Technically, like the rubber match because it wasn't 1-on-1 at SummerSlam, but I mean, one of them's leaving with the title. I don't think it's Bayley, but I think we get that match at Evolution.
Yeah, I think so too. I think a triple threat makes the most sense. You can build to, I mean, Bayley can kind of go to the side after that for a little bit, and then you can build the Becky and Lyra 3 at SummerSlam. I feel like that just makes the most sense, and then maybe Bayley goes heel from there. Maybe Lyra has the belt back, and she can get the belt back at SummerSlam. A lot of different directions you can go here, but at the very least, it's not boring. I think they're doing a great job with this storyline. And it's probably one of the best things, if not easily the best thing they've had going with the women as of late, and probably all year, to be honest with you. Fernando said Stephanie is the breakout star of the women's division. Even Stephanie Vacquet, or whatever Nikki Bella called her on Raw this week, she said Stephanie Vacquet, or something completely different than Vacquer. He also said WWE is making Lucha Libre a joke. I think they've done a nice job of spotlighting AAA recently, and the Lucha guys on their shows and on NXT and the crowd and the matches they've been having. Give it 6 months and we can get back to that comment. But right now, I think it's been totally fine. And Fernando also said Becky versus Lyra, 3 stages of hell match at SummerSlam. We haven't seen one of those in a while. I like that stipulation.
No, yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be some stipulation. I don't mind that.
I don't mind that either. Non-related to that, we'll get back to Money to Make in a moment, but AJ asked, are people really wanting Vince back? ? It's a joke that they're saying Vince's later booking was better than Triple H's when nobody said that 2 years ago. I know people have an issue with Triple H's booking right now, and that's totally understandable because I have my own issues with it. But to say that they want Vince back is completely fucking ridiculous. Do you agree with that, or are you sitting there clamoring for Vince because WWE's so bad right
Not
now?
clamoring for Vince. I mean, we discussed it a little bit. We'll probably discuss it coming up soon. But, like, yeah, I mean, I know everything Triple H does isn't great. I mean, we went back and forth. I think some of his booking ways are very lazy, and it's very, like, protective on certain people. I mean, not everyone. I mean, yeah, I think that for me, his biggest issue is the way he books and certain things. Like, everyone has to be protected. Like, people are going to lose matches. Some of these people are over. So, like, I don't know. Like, I think the problem is, like, the booking's very protective and it's very lazy in the sense that a lot of things are becoming, like, multi-man or multi-woman matches. And then, like, you can see by who's in it. Like, oh, well, this person's clearly in it to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that person will be pinned, and they are the one getting pinned. When, like, you do have developed stars that can afford losing. Like,
Yeah.
I know you don't want, like, people racking up losses, but some of these people can't afford to lose some matches.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, that's definitely an issue that we have, and we'll talk about the fatal four-way stuff and the triple threats. You get a multi-man, you get a multi-man, we all get multi-mans. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say everything Triple H does is better than Vince's. At any point in Vince's booking, there are totally things that Vince had done better than Triple H, but there's a lot more things currently that Triple H does better than Vince, especially at Vince's later years in 2018, 2019. If you are saying that you want Vince back, you were not watching the product 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. I mean, give me a fucking break. You immediately lose any credibility with me if you're saying that you want. I mean, especially in light of all the shit that he was accused of. I mean, but even putting that shit aside, as a booker, to your point,
the booking was terrible.
The booking was fucking awful. The product was almost unwatchable. We still sat here and talked about it, but there was a lot less. I mean, there was a lot more ranting. There was more rant and WrestleRant Radio at that point. But no, you can't sit here and say that you would want Vince back as a booker at this current point in time. That just doesn't make sense. Now, is there issues with Triple H's booking? Yeah, that's totally fine. You can even say, like I said, business-wise, like TKO, they're ruining the company, and you totally make a case for that, I suppose. But like, the high ticket prices, which are bullshit. But the thing is, tickets were so dirt cheap 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, because the product fucking sucked, dude. Like, they had no one in the buildings. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you were paying bottom dollar for these shows because they were fucking awful. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get it.
I mean, you're a sports guy. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like the Mets, for example, 2-3 years ago when they weren't doing as well, I'm sure tickets were fucking nothing. I mean, because the team sucked, but they're doing so much better last year and this year compared to a couple of years ago. Thanks to Grimace. Grimace is the man. It's Grimacegate, baby. The tickets are a lot more expensive. That just makes sense. It's supply and demand.
Yeah, I mean, it goes. It's yeah, like you said, if the team's good, they're gonna charge more because you're gonna pay more to see a better product. When the team's not as good, you're not gonna pay as much.
Yeah, no, exactly. It just makes sense. Grunted said nitpick full match uploads that don't include entrances. Yeah, no, I can understand that. I mean, technically they do include the full match, but yeah, WWE sometimes does chop off the entrances, which should be included in the match. So I agree with that. Grunt also said he booked Jinder Mahal to beat Nakamura in a WWE title match. Enough said. I mean, I'm not saying that was the turning point. They were doing dumb shit before that. But when that happened, I mean, we talked about it at the time, but I'm like, okay, you can't justify this to me. And then they did it again. They had a rematch a couple of months later, and Jinder beat Nakamura again. He beat him again. Jinder fucking Mahal was champion for 6 months. You can't sit here and tell me that any of Vince's booking from 2017, 2018, 2019 was better than what we're getting right now. Moments maybe. Kofi Mania was great. But that was lightning in a bottle. That's people putting on the rose-colored glasses and saying, oh, man, look how great it was. That was one storyline in one calendar year. The rest of it was garbage. It was hot fucking garbage.
It's terrible.
Just absolutely terrible. Back to Money in the Bank. Yes, and I do agree, Fernando. If people who want Vince back need to get drug tested, I agree. Back to Money in the Bank. The other Money in the Bank ladder match. Oh, my God. My brain is playing tricks on me. I wrote here, because I have all the results from the pay-per-view here, and I wrote them down. I wrote down LA Knight won the men's Money in the Bank ladder match.
He didn't.
He's a
I
loser.
watched it. He didn't.
You watched it. I watched it too, but my heart is telling me that LA Knight won it, but my mind and everything else in the world is telling me that he did not. Solo Sikoa,
he did not. I can confirm he did not.
No, he definitely did not. It was Seth freaking Rollins. And now let me say before I go forward with there's a lot to discuss from this match and the LA Knight aspect and a lot of bullshit here. But I will say, a lot of bullshit. I wanted LA Knight to win. I thought he would win. You picked Solo Sikoa. What you said last week, what we joked about, what'd you say?
I was closer.
You were closer, to be fair. What you talked about last week and what you mapped out legitimately almost happened. Where you're like, oh, Solo's about to grab the briefcase, someone stops him, and then the bloodline comes out, and then they help him. And then, like, whatever, blah, 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 JC Mateo, and then Jacob Fatu. Legitimately, that almost happened. And I'm like, I almost, like, fucking threw my phone. I watched it the next day, so I knew you had already known what happened at that point. But I'm like, there's no way Mr. Marceau, if this actually happens, he's secretly writing for the company. Because that is fucking garbage. Thankfully, Jacob Fatu turned on him, so that did not happen. I hate you, Solo. I saw people shitting on that. I liked it, actually. I liked it because he's been saying I love you, Solo, for the last year. I actually kind of like that. That's me being stupid. But he just destroyed this man. The part of this I didn't like was that the whole angle with Mateo and Fatu, Breaker, and Reed lasted like 5 minutes. Like everyone else was dead on the ground, dead for like 10 minutes. Like, that's just stupid. That dragged on for way, way too long. But before we get to the rest of the match, your thoughts on that specifically? Because I know you weren't clamoring for Solo to win, but you did have him winning. And then Jacob turned on him instead. So I thought that was good. Jacob Fatu finally on his own now. I like that. What were your thoughts?
I was actually excited for a second. I thought I was going to be right. I was going to just take my ass in your face, tell you how much smarter I am than you.
Yep.
Didn't happen, unfortunately. I thought it was good. I mean, I didn't really expect it to happen, I guess. I mean, I guess it was a swerve. I didn't think it would turn that quick. I mean, I think all roads lead to them having a match probably at SummerSlam, but I guess we're like 2 months out. But, I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, like you said, I think it did run its course. It was pretty long. And then once you turn, like, then it kind of picked, like, once he crushed Solo, we got right to the finish, which was nice. But I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, it was definitely a nice little swerve to like add to the match, but it did go a little too long. Rollins winning. I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know. And I guess I'll wait to see how it's played out. In the moment, I'm like, what are we doing here? Then Gunther beat Jay, so then I'm like, I guess I don't really know, but yeah, I don't know. We've discussed this 1,000 times. I think with Rumble, I think Money in the Bank more specifically, it should be someone that's not at a main event level.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole point of the briefcase is to like get you there. Seth's like was already challenging for the world title. He's like the biggest heel on Raw. He has the group behind him. Like, did you really need to win this match? Like, he's gonna get the title regardless. Like, he didn't need the briefcase. And then people are like, oh, he should cash in and lose it. I'm like, that just be dumb. Like, please don't do that.
That's a waste.
Rollins winning was probably my least wanted choice. Of course, that's what happened. Yeah, I mean, I thought the match itself was good. They had a couple crazy spots in there, but Seth wins, and now we move on.
So the Rollins one, I agree with most of it. He wasn't my least wanted pick. That was Solo Sikoa. I think Solo winning would have been worse. I know it would have made more. I mean, the Rollins one, to be fair, makes sense because he's already in the main event scene anyway. The bigger problem is to what you spoke about. He's already a made man. He's established. He does not need the briefcase. He literally challenged Jey Uso on Raw for the world title a month ago with nothing. He did nothing to earn it. I mean, Paul Heyman was like, oh yeah, you won't challenge. You won't face fucking, Rollins tonight for the title. Jay's like, no, I will. So we got a title shot out of nowhere. And he wasn't even beaten either. It was a no contest. So you could have easily just gone back to that. Jey Uso is no longer the World Heavyweight Champion, by the way. But we'll get back to that. But Rollins is the Money in the Bank holder, probably a longer-term thing, because Gunther just got the belt back. Unless Gunther is losing it soon to Goldberg or something like that, which would be absolutely terrible. I don't think that's happening. This doesn't make sense to me. I fucking hated this. I think Rollins winning, I know he has momentum right now. It's not as bad as, like, Otis winning or, like, whatever. I mean, it's been worse in the past. It's totally been worse. At least it makes sense. And he's been booked well. But he doesn't fucking need it. He's already won it, too. And we were literally in a position last year where Drew won it, and they used it for an angle, and people, liked that because they're like, oh, get the briefcase out of the way. Then don't even do the match. Don't even do the fucking pay-per-view. That's my point.
Yeah, but once there is, like, a good payoff to him actually having it.
Then that's fine. If there is a good payoff, he has to, I will say this, to go back to what you said, will he cash in? Will he cost the briefcase? Dude, he can. He cannot.
He needs to cash in successfully.
He needs to cash in successfully. I don't know when that's going to be. It probably won't be imminently. If it was still Jay, I would say by SummerSlam. But you're not going to have Naomi and him cash in like back to back. Like you got to space it out a little bit, in my opinion. If you're going to have two briefcases, you need to space them out. But he needs to cash in successfully. My question is, if Punk and specifically Punk, Roman will get back to, but if Punk has been beefing with this guy for months, literally all year pretty much, since the first Netflix Raw in January and even before that, why would he not come out and cost Rollins the win? That made no fucking sense. He was on Raw the next night challenging Cena, which we'll get to. But that's just stupid to me. Why would Punk not cost him the win? That was dumb. Punk literally was on Raw the week before, days earlier, failing to qualify because of Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins interfered in that match and cost Punk the opportunity to qualify. No one helps or no one prevents Rollins from winning, not even Roman Reigns, who can't be bothered to come out. I mean, that didn't really bother me. People were hell-bent on Roman coming out and costing Rollins. I wasn't really expecting that. At the very least, I thought Punk would be there. Punk wasn't even on the fucking show. That, to me, is what made zero sense. And if Punk cost Rollins the cash-in, guess what? We just saw that last year. We saw the exact same thing a year ago with Drew and Punk. The exact same fucking situation. So that's why I don't like it being Seth Rollins. I'm going to cry on this hill. It should have been LA Knight. How the fuck do you have this guy go out there on SmackDown the day earlier and go, third time's the charm, like it shouldn't have taken this long, and I lost the last 2 years, but I'm going to win it this year. And then he loses again. How does that happen, dude? You paint him out to look like a loser. And at this point, he is a loser. But he's still over. That's the miraculous thing. The guy is still over. I don't know how. He never really wins when it matters most. He got the U.S. title back earlier this year and then lost in a month to Jacob Fatu, which was whatever. But I'm like, okay, at least he'll win Money in the Bank. It's fine. Then he lost the belt. He'll get the briefcase and cash in. He fucking lost again. And I know he's feuding with Rollins. I guess that's the idea. That's the rumor. But like at Night specifically, it's hard to care at this point because he just never wins and he's never going to get beyond a certain level. Do you think WWE just doesn't see him as a main eventer and he's doomed to stay at the mid card forever? Like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm pissed.
I can tell. Jesus, I'm gonna catch the tears. I mean, I feel like he was like what we had Jay at for a while. Like he could never win, and like he did the same thing at third time against her. I'm going to win, then lose again, and then he won Royal Rumble, and then obviously it turned him. Like, maybe we're setting up for LA Knight winning the Rumble. I don't know, but, I mean, like you said, I thought this was probably his best chance to finally win, and he didn't win again. So, at this point, I guess I'm giving up on Money in the Bank wins, but, hey, maybe we got a Royal Rumble win in the horizon.
Are you really going to make me hope for that?
Yes.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't say
Saudi Arabia.
Well, first there's King of the Ring. If we're really gonna,
he's not winning King of the Ring.
Okay. So if we're gonna feed into this delusion that he actually will be elevated to that next level, you would have to say, well, he's gonna win King of the Ring because I said he's gonna win Money in the Bank, and then he didn't. You got to feed into the delusion that he's gonna win King of the Ring now. Okay, that's the plan, and then he loses that, and then you say the Royal Rumble, and then he also loses that.
He's
Come
not
on,
winning
man.
King of the Ring. I know that for a fact.
No, he's definitely not winning King of the Ring.
Is he even in it? Or
No, he's in it.
not
Yeah,
winning, though.
yeah. No, I'll flash up the graphics in a little bit, but no, he's in it. I don't think he's gonna win it. They got to elevate the guy. Do you think the Rollins feud will at least elevate him? It gives him something to do. It's better than feuding with Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, ship the guy to Raw at the very least.
Gives him something to do, but like you said, I mean, it's just all about the payoff eventually. And I mean, Rollins gonna win. He's fucking got the briefcase.
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of activity
But
in
no,
the chat.
I mean, yeah, I guess we'll wait and see. I think, like I said, I didn't want Rollins to win, but I'll be patient and wait to see where we go from here.
I had seen Noob say earlier in the chat that, he didn't want Rollins to win. He had me in the first half because he said, I don't want Rollins to win. It should have been LA Knight. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I agree. Or El Grande Americano. El Grande Americano, no thanks. I love Chad Gable. But Americano winning, and we joked about it last week, him cashing in on the AAA Mega Championship would just be fucking stupid.
I would have won nods, but yeah. No, I agree.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, I just, like I said, for Rollins, it all depends on what happens with the cash-in. I mean, I think it was Solid Monster said, like, Sami Zayn wins SummerSlam, then Rollins cashes in on him, and it's kind of like the Daniel Bryan story from 10 years ago. Like, Sami finally won the big one, and then we get the rematch of Mania, which I feel like they were kind of teasing at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the direction they're going, I'm 100% in on it. But if it's not, then I'm kind of out.
Yeah, no, I'm skeptical. I completely agree. Eric said, actually, how you guys feel about LA Knight right now is how I feel about Jamie. I think he's talking about Jamie Hayter. At least Jamie Hayter, to be fair, though, won the AEW Women's World Championship. She hasn't gotten back to that level, and I have no idea what the fuck they're doing or not doing with her. But at least she won the championship and held it for a while.
At least she's getting attacked and no one saw it. I saw that debut, by the way, the Tekla one. Holy shit. She's out, and they're like, what? All of a sudden, Jamie Hayter's just dead on the ground.
Like, the cameraman missed it, yeah.
They missed it,
And then it happened for like 20 seconds. All right, next segment. Moving on. Move on. Yeah, that wasn't good.
It was Butcher Blade ass. Not as bad, but it was close.
The Butcher, then the Blade. We know who they are. They're here. The Butcher. That's probably the worst debut in AEW history. Oh my God. Yeah, no, it's got to be LA Knight winning a world title at some point. If not, fuck you. I was not happy with that Rollins bullshit. It could have been worse, but it's all about the payoff. And the guy's got to cash in successfully. He doesn't need the briefcase. Shouldn't have won it. It's a waste. But now he has to cash in successfully. I will say that much. Let's get to this main event here on this show. Cody Rhodes and
you just breezed through this. This was a fucking yawn fest.
I know. Tell me about it. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus John Cena and Logan Paul. I actually didn't hate this match, but it wasn't really all that special. It got better at the end. It got more exciting, got more entertaining, but it ended up being a pretty standard match. We found out why it main event. I mean, it was going to always main event. I had no expectation that it wouldn't main event given who was involved. But at least they closed on a high note with Cody Rhodes winning for his team, pinning Cena, clearly setting up a rematch for SummerSlam, and R-Truth/Ron Killings returning. Is a great surprise. I know you rolled your eyes there. I'll get into that in a second. But you said the match itself was a bore. I can't disagree with you there. Wow, what were your thoughts?
It was a standard TV match with four guys that are over. Cody beats Cena. We knew that was going to happen anyways. I guess the Ron Killings thing we didn't see going, but if he's not feuding with Cena, because Cena's doing something else now.
Yeah.
He's facing CM Punk at Night of Champions.
Yep.
What was the point?
Well, they wanted to surprise people. I guess they wanted to do it here as opposed to on Raw. So, I mean, they got to do it as quickly as possible.
He's doing something else now. Like, he cost Cena the win. Why wouldn't he face him?
That I agree with. That made no sense. Why wouldn't Cena want it? I mean, Cena did address him on Raw, but R-Truth completely went into different. I don't think they know what they're doing with R-Truth or Ron Killing, because this was such a last-minute thing. And can we just get it out of the way? This was real. It's not a work.
That was the plan the whole time. Come on.
Does Triple H tell you that?
Yeah.
That's what he said during the. If Triple H says it, it must be true. If the internet says it, it must be true.
It's literally the plan the whole time, guys. Come on.
They said they rehired him a couple days ahead of time. They wanted to, beat the dirt sheets, getting ahead of it, which would make sense. If they had waited any longer, people probably would have spoiled it or leaked it, whatever, reported it. So I'm glad they got ahead of it. I thought it was cool. For the Ron Killings thing specifically, for as much as I shit on the decision for them to let him go, for other reasons than, he should have been a world champion, untapped potential. I never said that. I said that I didn't like the idea that he was there for 17 years and they didn't re-sign him just to do something. What they're doing now, my point is what they're doing now, they could have done with him by re-signing him for a brief while. under a lesser deal. If he was getting paid $1 million, I agree. That's probably egregious for a guy that you're not going to make that money back from. That's a lower mid-card guy. I agree with that. But the whole thing, like, I do give them credit for pivoting, pulling a rock and pivoting. And
this is Dwayne's move. I heard Dwayne. This is Dwayne's decision.
Every good thing that happens is Dwayne's doing, by the way. My point is, I give them credit for pivoting. Triple H doesn't want to give the fans credit for speaking their voice and then pivoting because of the fans. He said, oh, it was the plan the whole time. Hey, fuck that. Fuck that bullshit. That makes no sense.
It was the plan the whole time.
But the thing is that they're
come on, you marks.
They're pivoting from something that should have been the case from the get-go. Why didn't we get serious R-Truth like 5 years ago or last year or recently? Like, why did it take this man not getting renewed for them to do what we're getting right now? I thought what we got on Raw was awesome. Like, his promo was great. He cut the dreads off and everything. I thought that was really cool. Why couldn't they have done that anyway? Why would it take the fans having to speak up and chant his name at shows to get where we are right now? I am happy with the end result. I'm not going to make it sound like I'm all negative here. I'm just saying I wish they would have done this from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe they just didn't realize. Maybe it's one of those things that maybe they didn't realize the fans cared that much about him.
True.
I don't know, like, he has been a comedy character for so long, so it's like, maybe they're like, well, if we move on, like you said, maybe if they had more fanfare, they're like, oh, maybe there's some juice in a heel run, but it didn't really feel like there was. Then he gets released, and he's their favorite wrestler, so now they sign him back.
Yeah.
And turn him heel. So we'll see. I mean, or more serious at least. I don't even know if he's a heel.
Yeah.
But at least he's more serious. So I mean, one of those things that he was such a comedy character for so long, maybe they just didn't see him as a serious threat again.
Yeah, maybe not. I just feel like they probably should have foreseen that. Triple H specifically. I mean, there is no one that gets let go that he doesn't check the box off on. Like, okay, yeah, let's let him go. Like, people thinking this was a TKO thing and not Triple H. Triple H signs off on every fucking release that happens. The man is in a prominent position in that company. Do not be stupid. Do not be, gullible to think that Triple H has nothing to do with it. He clearly signed off on them firing or letting go of R-Truth. They realized they fucked up. And they made it up to him and whatever. Now we can use his real name, which I think is cool. When he leaves WWE, he can continue to use his real name. I think that's awesome. And he's not just coming back as, John Cena is my favorite wrestler. If they had done that, I would have thought that was garbage. I mean, I'm not really sure why he would attack Cena and then them not going back to that, because logically, why would Cena do anything else but that? Or R-Truth, same thing. But still, I thought what they did was cool. I'm excited to see where it goes. He's not going to win. Maybe he will win a world championship. I mean, we laugh at it. I don't know. If this continues the fanfare, maybe they will get to that point. I have no idea. But I'm not going to also sit here and say that every release that they've made is a dumb decision. How many people have been let go, specifically under Triple H in the last 4 or 5 years, that had people chanting their name at shows? The answer is nobody. Because if they did, then they would have been brought back immediately. Like they weren't chanting for Carlito. They're not chanting for, Sarah Logan. Bring her back. Like, I didn't hear that. I don't know, maybe I had the show on mute on Monday. Like, I didn't hear that. So they're not doing that with everyone. They're just doing it with him because it makes sense. They shouldn't have let him go in the first place. A lot of these other people, and again, to think that R-Truth getting let go was a work when they actually fire these other people makes zero sense. It makes zero sense. And I did say this last week, at least they're letting people's deals expire and they're not just outright firing them. That's also a good thing, too, to give them credit for. I wish they would do that more, as opposed to just outright releasing people.
No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. That was Money in the Bank. Before I get into some thoughts on Raw from Monday, this happened on NXT this week. We saw Mariah May, the person that you did call going to WWE, and you were completely right on. I'm still digesting the hat that I had to eat last week, all the crow. She is now known as Blake Monroe. That's the new name that she's going by as of Tuesday. Your thoughts on the name? I mean, I thought they could just go with Mariah Monroe. I thought that would have been perfect. Marilyn Monroe, shout out. But I know Blake is her niece. That's her niece's name, and that's a shout out to her and homage to her. But I'm not really sure why they had to change both names. I'm not really. Ricky Starks is Ricky Saints. They only changed his last name, and it sounds similar enough. Blake is very strange. But yeah, I don't really mind it. What are your thoughts?
No, I don't mind it at all. I mean, like you said, if it's her decision, like they're going to change the name and that's the name she wanted to use, and it's all dandy in my book.
Hey, we've heard way fucking worse names in the last 5, 10, 15 years. I mean, come on.
No, I think it's not. I mean, like I said, you could probably do like Monroe May or Mariah Monroe, but I mean, it seems like there's some personal connection there.
Yeah.
Similar. No issues.
If they wanted to do a month thing, like we talked about last week, it could have been Mariah March or Jennifer June.
It could have been Blake June. I mean, it could have been anything.
Is there a month that starts with B? Blake? I don't think there is.
A month with B? No, there's no month that starts with B.
No, I don't think there's a lot of like A's and O's and J's. No B's. Blake is fine. It's a name, and I think she'll shine regardless. She's actually not involved in that tournament, by the way, to crown a new #1 contender to the Women's Championship at Evolution to the NXT title. They're having like 4 qualifiers that lead to a fatal 4-way. What else is new? And she's actually not involved in that. So JC Jane may not be as transitional as we thought. Because if like they have someone else beat JC, that's a waste of time. But like, I don't know. She may hold it a little bit longer so she can lose it to Mariah May in the near future. But it will not be at Evolution. That much is clear.
Sounds good.
Also from Raw on Monday, speaking of Evolution, big show on Monday. A lot of stuff happened. Nikki Bella is back. And she was talking about Evolution on Monday night before she was interrupted by Liv Morgan, who failed to qualify or advance, rather, in the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. Liv Morgan laying her out. She mentioned her, being manless. She just got divorced a couple months ago. Hey, we all know about that. We all saw that report about how much money she owes Artem a month. Maybe that's why she's back. But in all seriousness, she is back for Evolution. And she's either facing Liv or this is a sign of something bigger, which it almost definitely is. With Liv and Raquel, because they are the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, defending against Nikki and Brie Bella. Brie Bella spoke to TMZ today as we speak right now, saying, oh yeah, I hate the fact that Liv brought up Nikki's ex-husband. Like, bitch, clearly that was a work. And I think her comments were a work as well. I think that was done by design to set up her coming back maybe as early as this coming Monday. The Bella Twins were never WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. They retired right before that. This was inevitable. I think Liv versus Nikki one-on-one would have been fine. But now we're getting the Bella Twins back. I can't say I overly care about this, but it's a match that does make sense. I mean, honestly, it's a match that makes sense. And it's not like those belts mean anything anyway. So yeah, just want to get your thoughts on Nikki Bella being back and what direction we're headed in. Nikki and Liv one-on-one, or is it a tag team title match more likely?
I mean, I'd really like if it was just the one-on-one match with Liv and Nikki. I think that'd be a really fun match. But now that you put the possibility in my head, I am clamoring for some Brie mode. So, I mean, I'm down for the tag match. I need to hear it one last time.
Oh, God. Brie mode. No thanks. Hopefully she gets Def Rebel and they give her new music. That's somehow better.
No. It's a classic.
It's a classic. Classically garbage. Real quickly, David said, work or not, you got to admit it was quite the coincidence that R-Truth gets re-signed and was able to return just in time for Money in the Bank to interfere in the John Cena match. Not really a coincidence. I mean, like I said, he got not renewed on Saturday or Sunday of 2 weeks ago, May 31st or June 1st. He broke the news on June 1st. The chants were happening on Monday. The online, uproar happened in the days that followed. They reached out to him during the week. He didn't pick up. Nick Khan apparently stepped in and spoke to R-Truth. I think he confirmed that. They gave him whatever he wanted. They brought him back in time for the pay-per-view on Saturday. So honestly, it makes complete sense. That's why I think it's a real thing and not a work. Fernando said Ron Killings will beat John Cena for the WWE title for a week. John Cena will win it back like when Mankind beat The Rock on Raw. Fernando, I love you. That's a terrible idea. You do not have R-Truth winning the belt would be cool, honestly, like for someone who's worked there for so long, especially with this character. But for him to win it for a week, only for Cena to get it back, that seems like a complete waste of time. I mean, it gives R-Truth a moment.
That's a no for me, dog.
Yeah, that's a no for me. I can't say I completely hate it, but I don't love that idea. Yes, Daniel, it's all about the pivot. All about the pivot. And, yeah, it's okay if they just scrap the tag titles altogether. Brother, we've been saying that for years and they haven't done it, so I think it's safe to say that those tag titles are going to outlive all of us. They're going to be around when the world is over.
You know what it is? Maybe the Bella Twins will retire them. Once they win them, they can retire them.
So you're advocating for them to win the belts. I honestly, I like that. I love that idea.
Yeah. No, because if they win, they're not active. They have to retire them.
There you go. But in reality,
I'm just going to retire them.
Listen, I completely agree, but I have a sinking feeling those belts will be around when the apocalypse happens, and you're going to get cockroaches that will survive anything, and the women's tag titles along with them. Those belts are not going anywhere. Okay. But also from Raw on Monday, I mentioned CM Punk, who did not cost Seth Rollins the briefcase on Saturday. He instead showed up on Monday with a completely different plan in mind, not settling his score with Rollins. I don't know if they intend to go back to it. That just made no sense for him to just completely move on from that. But he instead confronted John Cena, who Fernando mentioned a moment ago. We are getting Cena and Punk once more. We had them interact in the Elimination Chamber match a few months ago. And they are again rekindling a rivalry, this time in Saudi Arabia for the undisputed WWE Championship. And no, the irony or whatever you want to call it is not lost on me after the comments that Punk has made in the past about Saudi Arabia, the whole blood-covered dick thing or whatever, Saudi whatever. And now he's having to work there, which was always part of the plan. He was never coming back to the company and not working the Saudi shows. It was always inevitable, but it's officially happened. I mean, it is not a great look for Punk. He has said a lot of dumb shit that he's now had to go back on. No surprise there. I also don't love the fact this match is happening in Saudi Arabia. No disrespect to the Saudi Arabian fans. I would have rather this happen in Chicago or almost anywhere else. Honestly, like, I know it's a big attraction. Like, they get what they want. It'll be a big money match. But you could do almost any other match on that show and it would not matter. So I do not love Punk and Cena happening here. But it is what it is. At least we're getting the match this year, and it should be a fun match with Cena winning, obviously. Cody pinned Cena. So, like, he's getting that belt back, and we're getting that rematch, but it will not be here. They're doing Cena and Punk instead. So, great segment on Monday, making this match official. What were your thoughts on the segment itself and the fact that we are getting Cena and Punk for the first time in 12 years, but in Saudi Arabia?
I mean, the location, it literally means nothing to me.
Okay.
I'm not a baby internet mark complaining about it. Honestly, I mean, it's a big match. If it could happen in Saudi Arabia, the Moon, Corpus Christi, Winnipeg.
Hopefully not Corpus Christi. Don't say that.
Anywhere. It doesn't really matter to me. It should be a good match. Obviously, the crowd probably won't be the same, obviously, with Saudi Arabia, but
that's my point.
I think it'll be a big match. Cena's going to win, regardless if it's in Chicago, Boston, Miami, Mexico City, at the anywhere. Cena's winning anyway, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day where it is. But, I thought it was a good segment. Cody just beat him. Ron the Truth Killing just attacked him, but Punk's getting the title shot anyway. So,
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you put it like that, and I agree. But I am looking forward to the match. I think what you said is why I don't want this in Saudi Arabia as far as the crowd and atmosphere and environment. Maybe they'll go out there and they'll have an amazing match with a hot-ass crowd. I hope they do. But I would rather have this in a hot city like a Chicago. I mean, obviously he's from there, but almost anything like that to replicate the atmosphere of their matches from 12, 13, 14 years ago. I don't think we're going to get that in Saudi Arabia. I hope I'm wrong. It is better than Corpus Christi. I said anywhere else. Anywhere but Corpus Christi. That town is awful. Fuck that. I mean, if they were wrestling to crickets and these people don't give the match the respect it deserves, then I'll be pissed. Because this is it. They're advertising as one final time. So I am looking forward to the match, though, for Night of Champions. You know what? I will also say this, because I said this while I was watching Raw on Monday to Alexis when we were watching it. I said, do not do this match on Saturday night's main event. It would get just absolutely ravaged by commercials. It would get fucking 10 minutes. At least this is on pay-per-view, to be fair. At least it's on pay-per-view. It's better than on TV for 5 minutes. That would be garbage. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Cena wins regardless. Cena wins LOL, to RJ's point. That is not changing. But we do have a new World Heavyweight Champion. His name is the Ring General Gunther, beating Jey Uso in a valiant fight. I thought their Mania match was better, but this was still good stuff. Jey Uso, it was basically a finisher spam fest by the end, but I thought they told a great story coming into this match that Jey was overworked. He was wrestling on Raw, Saturday night's main event, SmackDowns, appearing on SmackDowns, Money in the Bank, and now again on Raw against Gunther. And it was too much for him to overcome. We have a new world champion, and it's not via a cash-in, no Rollins cash-in, no Goldberg, just a straight-up clean finish. And to be completely honest, and and you can check the archives because I've made this quite clear, I am not someone who has hated Jey Uso as World Heavyweight Champion. I think he's done well on the role. I think he's extremely fucking over. You put the belt on him, great. I didn't think he needed to hold the belt long. 6 weeks, I agree, is a little short. Better than a day or a month. 6 weeks is still something, but not every run needs to be 4 or 5 months. And I'm not saying I needed Jey to lose the belt, but I like the way they did this. This was completely out of nowhere. It switches things up, and I really do not know where they go from here. But I am curious to hear your viewpoint. I know how you feel. Give it to me, brother. Gunther, new World Heavyweight Champion. Jey Uso loses the belt after 6-7 weeks.
I mean, you kind of glossed over it quickly, but I mean, 6 weeks. I mean, I was here saying I didn't expect the long reign, but 6 weeks. I mean, come on, that's barely, not even 2 months. I didn't even hold the belt for 2 months, and like he had a good little reign. I thought the match itself was fine. I just thought the finish alone was just. I mean, with Tony Khan booked the finish was terrible. They milked the sleeper and him getting out of it for like maybe 5 minutes. Puts him in, always gets out, and then he hits his like 2 or 3 moves, 2 count. Okay. Gets him back in it again, gets back up.
Yep.
Then he puts Gunther in it, and then he gets up, and then he hits him again. Oh, nope, he gets out of it again. And then he finally puts it in one last time, and he just passes out. I mean, I just thought the finish was just awful. I mean, I figured Gunther eventually get the belt back, but I mean, after a month and 2 weeks, I mean, couldn't do more. Like I said, like I didn't expect them to hold it forever, but I mean, he beat Logan Paul, and I don't even know if he even defended the belt against anyone else. I mean,
against Rollins on Raw, there was that.
Yeah, there was a no contest.
Yeah, that's it.
It just wasn't for me. I mean, I figured it'd get a little bit longer reign. Like I said, I didn't expect it to be 6 months, but like I don't know. I feel like if he held it to SummerSlam and lost it, I would have been content with that. But I thought the finish itself was just wasn't for me. Like they basically were like, oh, he's gonna win, or at least get out of it, and then he just did it the same thing 3 different times, and then eventually just passed out.
Yeah,
like he fought the sleeper for like minutes and got out, and in the very end, he's just like, oh no,
it was too much. He couldn't overcome it because he was already tired.
That's what it is. Yeah,
that was the story they were telling.
He put Gunther in at WrestleMania. He tapped out in 10 seconds.
Yeah, that was dumb. Well, I said that at the time. That was silly. I didn't love that. That was weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the finish was terrible.
But also, because Alexis made the point, which I'm sure other people are thinking, the whole point of the Jey Uso WrestleMania win was to prove that he's on Gunther's level, that he can win when it matters most. And he did. He did win it when it mattered most. He won at WrestleMania, and he won the championship. And he didn't immediately lose it. He lost it soon after, but he did hold it for a little bit, to be fair. not 3-4 months, but, a little bit. But at the end of the day, he's not Gunther. Gunther is just better. So Gunther should, honestly, from a kayfabe storyline, realistic standpoint, should beat Jey way more than Jey beats Gunther. Jey got that one fluke win, but it wasn't even as if he cheated. Like, he beat Gunther clean. He earned his respect. And then Gunther's like, all right, cool. You've had your time. It's over. Like, I'm getting that belt back. It's coming back to me. The Jey stuff is over. But listen, he is still over. I haven't listened to Rikishi's rant, so I don't know if he had a heart attack on his podcast ranting about it and talking about it from this past week. But I think this was the right call. I'm not saying if Jey won, what I did not want was Jey winning and beating Gunther clean. Because Jey's not better than Gunther. He's just not. And Jey's not a main event, like a perennial main event player. He's like a Jeff Hardy type main event player where you can give him a couple world title runs and he doesn't really hold them all that long, but he's still fucking over as shit. I think that's what you can do with him. And he's still going to be over. Do people give up on Jey because he lost the belt so quickly clean? I don't think they will. I think he'll be fine. But the question is, now I ask you, where do we go from here? With Gunther and with Jey Uso, what happens now, do you think?
Well, Gunther's going to hold the belt till SummerSlam.
At the very least, yeah.
And Jey, I don't really know what you do with him.
What's his ceiling? Do you keep him on his own for the foreseeable future, or do you ultimately put him back? I think all roads lead to this. I don't know. My question is, how soon?
Not anytime soon.
Usos reunion.
The tag divisions are useless, so why even bother putting them back together?
Because that's where they're best at. They're tag team guys.
Keep him. I'd keep him on his own for a little bit longer.
Okay. I mean, I'm not saying Jimmy comes out next week and saves him and they reunite full time, but I think that's where we're headed. I mean, that they're Jimmy's lost without Jey. I mean, Jey's miles ahead of Jimmy in almost every respect. But Jey's just not a guy that you can keep the belt on for a long time, which I'm not saying is what you're saying, but he can win it every once in a while, would get for a great moment, and it's always about the moment. People are already complaining, oh yeah, he's having a bad run. I don't agree with that. I mean, what would you grade his run? I said the other day, like a B- because he was over the entire time. He was featured in main events. He had a couple good matches. The promos were inconsistent, like that one where he forgot his lines a couple weeks ago was pretty bad. But, it served its purpose. Not every run needs to be a long one in order to be a success, is my point. So I thought it was like a B-. I thought it was good. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I would say like CC plus. That was so.
Yeah, it wasn't awful. Oh man, he lost it so quickly. Like, okay. I've seen a lot longer runs that were John Moxley. Okay, John Moxley held the champion. He's held the championship for almost a year, and it's been fucking atrocious because his matches are not great and the storyline sucks. Jey Uso, at least that whole shit is over. I was excited. I was into it. And then he lost, and, it's nice to switch things up every now and again. We haven't had a world title change on Raw since Big E, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone. I don't think we've had a world title change hands on Raw since Big E won it from Bobby Lashley via the cash-in in 2021. That would have been 4 years ago. For the men, the women's title has changed hands on Raw since then. But for the men, that was the last time. So I like that. Daniel said 5 letters, 1 word, pivot. Yeah, no, I agree. That's a good one. Alexis said Jey Uso heel turn, question mark?
No, Alexis, no.
That's not the answer.
He's so fucking over. Why do you turn him heel at this point? I mean, they did the same thing with Cena, but no. I mean, it's not like he got screwed. He lost this straight up. I mean,
yeah.
Like I said, I just like, I feel like if they put him back in the tag division, like, you basically have to run. If this is me, you run the yeet thing until the wheels fall off, and then you reunite him and Jimmy. Because once you put him back in the tag team scene, you just looked at a lower level already.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't think it's logical to go right from the world title scene to the tag team division. I think it would need to be a steadier. Decline is the right word to use, but like it should be more seamless than that. It shouldn't be like Kofi Kingston. When Kofi Kingston lost the belt, he literally was back to doing New Day bullshit a week later. Like that shouldn't.
Yeah, so what are we gonna get the New Day and fucking Usos circa fucking 2018? Like,
yeah, I don't know if maybe one more time for old time's sake, but we have seen that match a million times. And yes, Daniel, we did. Tyreek did pop up earlier. He made one comment. He did not answer what Love Ziggler means. He did not give us his Love Ziggler nickname. He just said, "Wait, RJ, hear me out, bro." And I don't know what he needs RJ to hear out because he never came up again. So Tyreek, if you're here, we need to hear what you're talking about. What you need RJ to hear out because I don't know what you're referring to. So yeah, I don't know what that was about. But yeah, no, I agree. I thought it was, I'm actually in favor of it, but it's all about what happens here. I think we can all agree though that the worst thing to happen would be Gunther winning the belt and then losing it in a month to Goldberg and then Rollins cashing in on him. That would be terrible. Gunther needs to be Goldberg, obviously, right?
Whatever's best for business, pal.
Gunther might be facing the winner of the King of the Ring come SummerSlam. King and Queen of the Ring is back. They're doing 2 tournaments. This is the last thing I'll bring up. And they are doing the tournaments. Because the pay-per-view is in 2 weeks from this weekend, they have to rush through this thing. So instead of doing the standard format, they are doing 8 fatal 4-ways in the next 2 weeks between the women and the men. And that is in addition to the triple threats they already had, the 12 triple threats they had for the Money in the Bank qualifiers to determine who are going to be in these matches and these tournament matches. Before I even throw out the brackets, can you just tell me, Mr. Marceau, how fucking stupid that is? And I mean, we already talked about it. Like, they do this to protect people, but why would Ivy Nile be in the tournament? I mean, simply to take a quick loss.
She's a contracted wrestler on Raw.
Oh, so that's why she's in the tournament.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's a Raw superstar, so that's why she belongs, right?
Mm-hmm. Completely
ridiculous. The multi-person stuff needs to end. I mean, this nonsense is getting out of control. It's bad. It's extremely bad. They need to change this shit. They need to determine, do regular tournaments and regular qualifiers. It's just completely out of control. They need to do a better job of that for sure.
I mean, you just need better. Realistically, then it comes down to scheduling. I mean, when you schedule Money in the Bank, and then 3 weeks later you have one that's like,
yeah,
you have another tournament, like a tournament. Like the problem is the Money in the Bank should have just been one-on-ones anyways. I guess I get it. Like with Money in the Bank and Night Champions, it's such a quick turnaround. Like maybe you'd have a couple of multi, but like they just did triple threats. Now we're getting fatal 4-ways.
Yeah,
because the pay-per-view is 3 weeks away. I mean, they probably should have scheduled a little bit later, but like I said, I think at the end of the day, it's a crutch that Triple H uses that. Oh, every like tournament there's gonna be like triple threats and fatal 4-ways and fucking it's just lazy booking because it's like protecting certain people. When at the end of the day, like Rhea Ripley can afford to lose. Liv Morgan can afford to lose. Who else is in this tournament? Charlotte Flair. I don't even know if she'll fucking move on, but she's in it. I mean, there's plenty of people in this that they can about like, okay, Kairi Zane's in there, they'll lose. Piper Niven's in there, they'll lose. Candice LeRae will lose, and Ivy Nile will lose. There you go. I just named all 4 people who are going to get pinned. I guarantee they all get pinned.
Well, I just flashed up the graphic. Who do you think wins in each one? I know you're very happy with Roxanne Perez advancing. At least that kind of, made up for Jey Uso losing on Raw, right?
Roxanne winning, it helped a little bit with Jey losing. I did like that. I mean, I didn't really understand Liv's upset with her. I mean, what is she supposed to do? Just like lay down for Liv? Didn't really get that. Didn't pin Liv either. Hey, if she's being honest, she helped Liv not get pinned.
That is true.
But yeah, so Roxanne advances, so she's a heel.
Yeah.
Looking at the next, it's Jade, Michin, Nia Jax, and Piper Niven. I would assume Jade or Michin would win.
I'm going, I would go Jade versus Roxanne probably, yeah.
Okay. And then we have Bliss, LeRae, Flair, and Green. I'd probably say Bliss.
Okay, I'm going to say Charlotte.
Oh my God, Charlotte, get out of here.
She's the queen of the ring.
She's queen and get the fuck out of my face. And then we got Asuka, Nile, Rodriguez, and Vakura. This one's a little bit tougher because Asuka's coming back.
Yeah. I'd
probably have Vakura go over, but like maybe it's one of those things. Asuka pins Ivy Nile and then she doesn't get pinned.
Yeah.
And then it would be Roxanne and Jade. I think you'd have Jade win, and then mine would be Bliss and Asuka. Asuka would beat Bliss, then Asuka and Jade. I think Jade wins.
Okay. The whole thing?
And then she faces Tiffany, and then Naomi cashes in on her.
Oh, okay. I could see that. That's not a bad pick. I think Jade
wins.
At SummerSlam itself, you're saying.
There you go.
All right. I could see that. Looking at the bracket myself, I mean, first of all, they spoiled Asuka's return by just fucking putting the graphic up. They didn't, I mean, I know they had a video package, but that was later on. We were looking at the bracket. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why is Asuka in this thing? Alexa said, stop tapping. I guess there's something on your end that's making like a tapping noise. I don't know if it's up against your computer or what it is. Is there something?
My hand.
What'd you say?
It's my hand.
Is it? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't think it is. I'm not sure. I'll let you know if it comes back again. I don't think it's your hand. I think it was something else. But I could be crazy. But Jade, yeah, you think she wins the whole thing? I think she beats Roxanne. Asuka, I think, advances. She just came back. Charlotte versus Asuka. I mean, we've seen that a million fucking times. Yeah, I'll go Jade and Tiffany because they were teasing it, to be fair, a couple of months ago, right? And they never ended up doing it. So I think you're right about that. Let me pull up the men's one real quick. Queen of the Ring. Let me see King of the Ring. Boom. All right. Do you have the King of the Ring tournament pulled up in front of you too?
I have the men pull up, yeah.
Sami Zayn obviously advanced. So he advanced on the Raw side and the left side of the bracket. Then you got Orton, Knight, Black, and Hayes. Well, first of all, we know Aleister Black is eating the pin. Or not Aleister Black, I'm sorry, Carmelo Hayes.
Carmelo Hayes is losing, yeah.
Yeah, I could see Carmelo Hayes winning or losing. So who advances? Orton, Black, or Knight here? Aleister Black?
I think Black should. Yeah, I would say Black.
All right, Aleister Black and Sami Zayn. Orton. This one's difficult because I think Knight, he'll probably get cost by Rollins, right? You would think.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, it would probably make the most sense. On the right side of the bracket, Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, Andrade, and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Alexis, get over the tapping. Jesus Christ. I mean, Andrade's clearly losing. I would assume Cody wins. I mean, it'd be pretty surprised if he lost.
Okay, yeah, no, I think Cody Rhodes is winning this whole thing. I think he's winning the tournament to face Cody or face Cena at SummerSlam. Again, I'd rather they just make new stars by putting it on people who could really benefit. But if Cody Rhodes does not win this, then it has to be a Raw guy, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think Cody wins, and the other one's Bronson Reed, Rusev, Sheamus, TBA. I mean, I assume Bronson would win, right?
Yeah, no, it has to be Bronson, I would imagine. Bronson and Cody. Cody beats Bronson. Cody and Sammy in the finals? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Does Sammy win or does Cody win? I think, honestly, because I asked because we talked about who does Gunther face at SummerSlam, I could see it being either one of them. I could see Cody getting his rematch with Cena by winning King of the Ring, but I could also see Sammy winning it and then becoming number one contender to the World Heavyweight title.
I'd rather Sammy win than Cody. Cody, like you said, Cody already has the match. It's like it's coming. Like Sammy should win.
All right. I'll go Sami Zayn. I want Sami Zayn to win, but my safe pick is, guess who? Cody Rhodes. We already had Seth Rollins win Money in the Bank, so at this point, I'm not going to say I'm surprised by anything. I think that's probably the way that they're going with this. So,
yeah. I mean, I think as if Sammy wins, then that's a Raw guy wins, and if Jade won the women, then that's SmackDown. So, I mean, they usually do one wins from one show. So,
yeah.
You
got to spread the love a little
Roxanne
bit.
Perez is winning, and besides that, I don't know who else from Raw for the women would win.
Yeah. Billy, you're joining a little bit late in the afternoon, guys. What's going on, Billy? We're about to close out right now. David did say, you don't think we might get a King Rusev surprise? That name fits. Daniel said, I already forgot Rusev was back in the company. No, I don't think Rusev wins. I don't think he wins.
No, I don't think he wins either.
I don't think he takes the pin, but I think they're in there to kind of further the feud with him and Sheamus. I feel like that would make the most sense. David, come on. Are we serious? The last King of the Ring entrance better not be Goldberg. Do we think that's a legit?
It's not Goldberg.
Goldberg can't even fucking train for the match, let alone wrestle a full. Did you see that whole thing this past week where he was like, "Man, I tore my ACL training for the match." Like, bro, then maybe you shouldn't have come back because you're 58 years old. I mean, that's just
he needs that retirement match.
That's what he said. He was complaining about, I need that retirement match, and then he's like, he needs that retirement match, and then they give it to him, and then he's like, "Oh man, I'm getting hurt." And then what did you expect? You're 58 years old. You're almost 60, pal. I mean, come on. That's just stupid. I mean, I think it is safe to say, even if the mystery person, I will say this, because people are like, oh, maybe it's Karrion Kross. Why would it be a mystery? He's on the roster. That doesn't make sense. He was on the show in a Netflix commercial this week. Like, during Netflix commercial, he was on Raw interacting with Sami Zayn again, which they've been doing for months and it hasn't led anywhere, whatever. That doesn't even make sense. Why would it be Karrion Kross? He's already on the show. That makes no fucking sense. But I will say, yeah, Mr. Iguana, maybe. I know Mr. Marceau would pop.
No, thank you.
Come on. Even if Karrion Kross is in it, Karrion Kross and Kofi Kingston will never win King of the Ring. Ever. I can guarantee you of that. Unless they get a name change.
He wouldn't win it, no.
Why do you know why they wouldn't win King of the Ring?
Why?
Karrion Kross? What would his name be?
King Cross.
Be King Karrion Kross.
I mean, I know where you're going with that, but yeah.
Especially Kofi Kingston. That would be a bad look. But no, I mean, yeah, you could just change his name. Maybe he's Karrion, you spell it with a C. Something like that. I don't know. I feel like that would make the most sense. But yeah, Rusev is in the WWE Witness Protection Program. Okay, at least he's on the show, all right? I know you're forgetting that he's on the show, but at least he's on Raw, to be fair. He's not fucking...
I mean, it did help that he started off against Otis and Tozawa, so...
Yeah, no, not exactly the strongest program. I'm with RJ. I don't get the iguana thing at all, Billy said.
Smart man, Billy is.
That's going to do it, guys. Thanks for joining in, as always. I saw Swerve there earlier. What's going on, brother? Thanks for joining, as always. Everyone else, Daniel, Fernando, Eric, David, Maria, everybody. Appreciate you guys chatting in. Always great to chat with you all. Millennial Noob, I know you're a big Asuka fan. You were very excited to see her come back. Also, Asuka's return was rumored to return for the past 5 months. So he wasn't really mad, I guess, that she was spoiled in a graphic. Well, guess what? I like when people come out with a surprise. Like, why would
you think she's going to have the face paint, or is she going to be like old NXT Asuka, you think?
Ooh, good question. I'm going to say face paint.
Okay.
Because they brought back the face paint under Triple H. So Billy thinks it's going to be Bronson Reed winning King of the Ring. That's a dark horse.
I like Bronson Reed. I just don't think he's going to win those.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen either. David asked, what the hell is a Mr. Iguana? He's your new favorite wrestler. That's who he is. That's Mr. Marceau's new favorite wrestler. He's going to come out next week as a mystery opponent and win the whole thing. And Mr. Marceau's going to have to be a fan at that point. I feel like you would combust if we got a Mr. Iguana and Orange Cassidy match.
I just wouldn't watch. I wouldn't explode because I just wouldn't watch.
It's going to be at your local mud show. You're going to have to go.
No, thank you. I'll pass.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in. As always, new episodes every single Thursday on WrestleRant.com, WrestleRantRadio.com, all your favorite podcast platforms, and right here on YouTube. Catch it first in video form every single Thursday. Shout out to the channel members: Alexis Missmon Matthews, Dylan the Giacomo, Mrs. Renee, DJ Swerve One, who was here earlier, Daniel Malcolm also here, Mr. Marceau himself. Follow on Twitter at RJ_Marceau. John Ritland, Richie, and Average Grunt, thank you all for tuning in and becoming a member. More information on that in the description box down below to become a WrestleRant All Access Pass channel member. At the very least, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and check us out right here on the channel next Thursday as we break down God knows what in the world of wrestling. In the last week alone, I'm gone for 3 days, and like I said, we have Money in the Bank, we got a new World Heavyweight Champion. R-Truth comes back. Mr. Iguana is Mr. Marceau's new favorite wrestler. Just so much shit going on. And we'll have a lot to discuss next week as well. So, Mr. Marceau, any parting words for the WrestleRant fam here today?
I don't associate with Mr. Iguana at all.
My parting words, go Mets, baby. Grimace season. I'm feeling it.
There you go.
Do you think they win the World Series this year?
No.
No. Come on. We go to a Mets game together. We got to go to a UFC fight together too.
Sounds good.
Mirab champion, baby. I got my money on him to retain the title in his next fight. We need more UFC talk. People like the UFC talk.
He's gonna go over next time.
He's gonna go over indeed. All right, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Have an awesome one. I'm Graham G. Matthews from Mr. Marceau. We will catch your ass down the road. Peace.
Join Graham GSM Matthews and RJ Marceau every Thursday as they run down their weekly wrestling rants, offer expert analysis, host exclusive interviews, and more. Subscribe today on all your favorite podcast platforms and never miss an episode of WrestleRant Radio.